Welcome to the future of spelling. My name is, you know my name by now. Now, before I start this lesson, I've got two more. They keep coming. Two she. Shoutouts. Two shoutouts. We love a shout out. And we'd love even more, two of them. The first one is from 9-year-old Katie for the spelling of... I've forgotten. Wild. Wild. That's willed, isn't it? Willed? Wild? Oh, not easy. And she said she used the technique of an acrostic, which is the first letter of each of the following words spelling, helping you spelling the word wild. She said, I is the letter I, the word I, then L for love, and then D for dad. I love dad. He's wild. He's so wild and wacky. He's wild. I love dad, even though he's wild. Well, that's why I love him. I love dad. Very good. Nice work. We love your link. 2-finger ripple, Katie. Excellent work. You have a shout out, and a badge. I've used a very similar, identical technique, the same wording for the word what I am, a big fat child. Child. The letter I is next to the letter L for love and D for dad.
Even though his jokes are rubbish and he can't dance, I love dad.
What a good child you are. I love dancing and rubbish jokes. Come on, you've got to love rubbish jokes and dad dancing. We love it. No, we don't. I'm the only one who loves it. My children think, really, Dad? Really? The next shout out is from 8-year-old Rahan for the spelling of south. South. Coming from the south, obviously. Ovs. Now, the O is difficult. South. Yeah, S-O-W-T-H. Why wouldn't you? Ow. Some schools teach it as OU as an ow sound, then OW is an ow sound. Which one do you choose first? There are more words with OU in the middle, but the sound ow is really OW. Oh, what do you do? Oh, what you do is linking. That's what you do. And he very cleverly said, this is really cool, it's a great link. The South Pole is at the bottom of the world, and the letter at the bottom of the world, that arc, is a U. S-O, and there it is. And the O could be the globe. Really good. That's a genius link. Rahan, legend. Totes ledge. Really good link. 2-finger ripple. You got yourself a badge, a pencil, and a shout out. Keep those shout outs coming. I love them. They're great to get. It's so cool to see these shout outs. So, today's lesson number 72, is more letter linking. Levels 3 to 5. Letter linking, a really good technique. The formula is tough word next to easy word in an expression you know or you could learn very quickly. For example, the word crumb, you can't hear the B of crumb. Breadcrumb, the B of bread, the B of crumb. You know the expression breadcrumb. Use that to spell the word crumb. So when you next hear crumb, think, right, I've got breadcrumb. I know that already. Crumb. Right, when I hear crumb, I've got to connect it to breadcrumb, which you know already. I mean, bits, biscuit, whatever you want. Really good technique. But it can be more than one letter. It can be 2 or 3 letters. It can be 4 or 5 letters. A part word is fine. For example, the first one up is, keep going. Commitment. This is a good word. Commitment. The M's and the T's. Oh, that will do. Over to the link. Commitment. The MMIT of the word summit is in the middle of this word. With commitment, you can get to the summit of anything you want to achieve. The MMT of summit. Letter linking. Matching letters, another word that's linked to commitment. Get to the summit with commitment, you get to the summit at the top. Oh, come on. Is it in? You know it is. The next one up is... like it. Over you go. Go on, over you go. Good one. Centre. Centre. Well, surely it's S-E-N-T-E-R. Come on, centre. Kentra. This is a nightmare. Really hard word. But not anymore. All right. Good. Centre. C for core starts off this word, and the R-E at the end is at the end of the word core, as well as the beginning of the word red. The centre of the earth is called the core. That is red hot. We've used that technique twice there. The C-R-E of core, and then the R-E of red. Why not? Come on. We love it. The next one up is... Intrigue. If something intrigues you, it interests you. You show an interest that does intrigue me. Oh, I'm intrigued. Carry on. I need to find out more. I'm intrigued. It's piqued my interest. Pique. This is a great word. Look at this word. Pique. P-I-Q-U-E. The Queen does pique my interest. And the I could be her standing there. And the Q-U-E of Queen, it'd be nice to know what's really going on behind, what you see up front with the Queen. What's going on in Buck Palace? Really. It does intrigue me, okay? It's piqued my interest. What's happening? She does pique my interest. The I, the Queen, Q-U-E of Queen. There you go. Letter linking. Oh, we love it. So, back to intrigue. I've got a word here beginning G-U-E. It will help you spell the word intrigue. Over to this link. Intrigue. The word meaning to show an interest is finished off with the letter I next to the G-U-E of the word guest. The Sir Lancelot app did intrigue me before I guessed my spellings, but not anymore. The G-U-E of guess. If you can't spell guess, the old, oh yeah. Or you guessed it. You guessed it. Sir Lancelot likes to link a lot. You guessed it. U is G-U-E-S-S. Letters that sound like words. Or the smile. The smile is a U. Is it in? You know it is. The next one up is... Bit of a strange word, admittedly. Graffiti. Graffiti. Oh, the F's and the T's, the F's and the T's. Oh, the F's and the T's. Oh, the F's and the T's. Oh, those F's and T's. Oh, those F's and T's. Over to my link. Graffiti. There are two F's and a T inside the word graffiti, and there are two F's and a T in the number 50. Graffiti is 50% vandalism and 50% art. 50! You know 50's got FFT. Use that to spell graffiti. There you go. We've got a tremendous Susie story for graffiti later on. And talking of which, have a guess who's on this show in a minute. Oh, it's Lady Lex. We love Lady Lex. Complete legend. Oh, superstar, superstar, superstar. Come on. The next one up is... occur. Oh, I like the F's and T's of graffiti. The F's and T's, the F's and T's. The F's and T's, the F's and T's. They've got the C's and R's, the C's and R's. Oh, the C's and R's. Come on. The C's and R's. We love it, the C's and R's. Occur. There are two C's and an R in the word occur, and the word cracks. Cracks occur in old age. Cracks occur in old age. Cracks. You know there's 2 C's and an R in cracks. Use that to spell occur. Talking of crack, I've got a beauty there, absolute beauty. But when I was young, I was born with it. I was born with one big fat crack there. Not old age, young age, when I was born. Well, I don't know when it was, no ideas. Check that out. With the eyebrows as well. It's great. What's all this about here? It's all happening around here. Anyway, the next one up is recommend. Lovely word, recommend. You know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. All right? Not the F's and T's and the C's and R's, but the C's and M's, the C's and M's, all those C's and M's. And also the O actually after the C, that's tricky. But the C's and M's, the C's and M's, the F's and T's, the C's and the R's, the C's and the M's, the C's and the M's, the C's and the M's. Recommend. The COMM of the word recommend matches the COMM of the word comma. Mrs. Fox is not a happy English teacher. The punctuation in your homework was appalling. I recommend from now on using more commas and full stops. Recommend, comma. C-O-M-M of comma. It's a great one. But you could do C-O-M-M like comment, command. You do what you want. But commas, full stops, punctuation, grammar, it's etymology time. It is the linguistic literary legend, Lady Lexicographer. How are you today in your wonderful world?
I am very well, Sir Linkalot. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm happy and raring to go with spelling or whatever you want to throw at me.
Brilliant. Okay. So I was trying to get my little alliteration going. I got my head around literary linguistic, but I mucked up with the wonderful world of words, and I mucked it up. I love it.
We all muck things up. I muck things up all the time.
And it's good. It's good for us. It keeps us in check.
Exactly.
But alliterations are great, don't you think? Alliterations, I presume they must go back many centuries, surely.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can go back to, ancient Greek, or I don't know, the ancient Romans in their poetry. They've been using these stylistic techniques for a really, really long time. And tongue twisters are based on alliteration always, aren't they? So what's your favorite tongue twister?
I don't know why, but my father loved the Leith police dismitheth us.
Okay.
I don't know random, but I think red lorry, yellow lorry is always one that I struggle with.
Always red lorry, yellow lorry, and so all the standards. Peter Piper picked a pecker, pickle pepper. How much pickle pepper did Peter Piper pick? I love that one. They're such goodies. But yeah, it's all about alliteration. So we have been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with alliteration. I'm always doing it. I'm always trying to find something. It's something very satisfying of the same sound. The first, it's really powerful. A headline, you always see alliterations. It carries. I don't know what it is.
It's your linking brain.
You may not love me, but why people love the headline of an alliteration? It just grabs you, doesn't it?
It does, yes. It just somehow sticks in the mind, and it's just quite clever, really. I think headline writers are often really clever, and they use all these stylistic techniques, puns, and again that's been going back a couple of centuries. The art of headline writing is quite tricky, I think, but also very impressive.
Well, a pun, people say, is the lowest form of wit. I love a pun. Well, firstly, is it the lowest form of wit? And do you like puns yourself anyway?
I sort of like puns. I think if they're very obvious, then I do tend to groan a little bit. But I worked with someone on Countdown, the program that I work on. I worked with someone called Richard Whiteley. He was the very first host, and he loved a pun. So he kind of got me used to puns in everyday life. And kids love puns, don't they? I mean, so many kids' jokes are based on puns that you've got to love them. But sometimes they make me groan. It depends what mood I'm in.
I mean, we'll be like someone like Tim Vine, for example. He's done the world record. It's either
Meister.
Sorry?
He's the pun meister.
He is. He's it's either 499 or 599 jokes in an hour.
Yeah.
And they're nearly all puns. But people love, as you say, as long as it's, saying that, I say the overuse of it will annoy people, but he can whack them out, people laugh at them. So therefore, it's not the overuse. It's basically if they're good.
Yes, I think that's true. I think that's very true. If they're good and not too obvious.
Yeah.
Although maybe puns have to be obvious. Anyway, we're going down a rabbit hole here.
Where we are, sorry. Right, so I told you about spelling. I've come up against this quite a lot over the years. My first ever link was in 1995. I like to link a lot. It's 26 years in March. That's
amazing.
A lot. That's a geography link, World Capital link was my first ever one. And then I launched my company. I started presenting at schools in 2008 or 2008, kind of that one. 500 schools later, and people often say, well, why is spelling important when you've got predictive text and you've got spell check? And who cares, why is spelling important? Well, why does it matter? Well, what's your sort of, have you got a bog standard reply, or what are your thoughts on it?
Not bog standard, but just a really personal reply, I think. I mean, I always say that actually to use a spell checker properly, you actually have to be quite good at spelling, because spell checkers can actually lead you astray, because it's not always going to recognize what you want to say. And there are so many, as you know, homographs and homophones in English that actually it's not always going to be able to interpret exactly what it is you want to say. So never rely fully on a spell checker. That's one thing I would say. The other thing is, I love spelling, not because of old Latin rules and because this was right 200 years ago and we're still following those patterns, but because it's all about clarity and being articulate and being eloquent. And I think that spelling is very much part of that, and being clear to the person that you are not speaking to, but writing to, is really important. So if you have a glaring spelling error in something that you are writing, that is going to trip up the person who's reading it. So their eye is going to kind of stop on that. They will possibly have lost the entire sense of your message, and it may be a really important message. And then everything goes out the window because of that one spelling error. So it's I think about clarity, it's about good communication, and that's what, that is what we're all striving for. It's about being articulate. And you would expect me to say this, the main reason I love English spelling, tricky as it is because it packs within it so many different stories and so many secret adventures. And it may be really difficult to remember some spelling, and that's what the Link-a-lot links are all about, is trying to remember the trickiest words. But also, once you start to be the word detective and kind of do some digging and find out why a word is spelled that way, it'll help stick in the mind, and you will have learned something about our ancestors and a bit about history and a bit about the invisible hands that changed one letter in a word that has become a silent letter probably, that we still use today. So there are so many reasons why I love spelling and why I think it's important, but I think probably the most important of the three is just being clear and communicating well.
Yes, and children, adults don't read so often these days when you've got other sort of things winking at you and tempting you, sort of gadgets and things. So reading, I've never been a fan of rote learning, but I think reading, you're not aware that you're actually rote learning because you keep saying a word again and again and again and again. That is a cool way to do rote learning, I think.
Oh, that's the best. And also we have to remember that you can still read things on your screen. So we're not saying, it's books or nothing, because actually, well, first of all, you can obviously read books on a screen if you have a Kindle or whatever, but even just kind of processing information, even if you're reading, the Newsround website, for example, and getting your news fix for the day, that is also exposing you to spelling and to, good style quite often and that kind of thing. So it doesn't have to be either a book or bad spelling, if you see what I mean. There's many, many ways in which we can look at information and process it, and also slowly absorb, as you say, maybe unconsciously, the good spellings out there.
I mean, spelling to me is the foundation, I think, of literacy, because if you can't spell, right? If you can't spell, therefore there's a chance you won't reading will be a bit of an effort, because some word you think, is that how you spell the word? I don't know, through or thorough. Oh, is that thorough? So if you can't spell, but if you can spell, reading will probably be a bit easier. And if you can read, you educate yourself, of course. And then if you say, like, do you want the etymology of a word that you can't spell? Well, what, are you rubbing salt in the wound? Well, now here's the Link-a-lot trick, right? Over to Susie's story. okay, now I can spell the word. You've got my interest. What's the origin of this word? And I think spelling, to me, is so important. Not just spell check. That's a sort of shortcut thing, which is great because some children say, who are dyslexic, for example, have got a sort of learning block on spelling. This solves that. So it is fantastic. Predictive text is brilliant. It's a wonderful thing, and spell check. But to me, if you can't spell the whole thing, the building blocks of literacy, you're struggling. And in each animation on Linky, the meaning of the word is always in the animation. Because what's the point in learning the spelling of a word that you don't know what it means? What is the point? There's no point. So the good thing about the app is, I'm not just trying to promote it blatantly here, a shameless plug, but because the meaning is in there as well, you go, okay, I can spell that word, I know what it means, I'm going to use that word, I like literacy, Susie Story, prefixes, and its building blocks. So I think spelling, not just the shortcut, to me, I think, is the foundation of literacy. What do you think, or is that a bit over? Is that a bit dramatic?
No, and I think the one thing I would say is obviously for the children and adults who struggle with spelling, then that there are solutions. So we're not saying that you can't be literate if you can't spell well, because there are that you can be very articulate and still struggle with spelling. What we're trying to do is help people along to get better at spelling, and what's more, have fun with it. I think that's the big thing, Andy. People are very scared of dictionaries. They're very scared, understandably, about not being able to spell if they struggle with it, but actually they shouldn't be embarrassed because it affects so many different people, and there are so many reasons why we find it tricky. And remember, English spelling is chaotic, really. But just to pick up on something you said about learning the spelling first and then the etymology, sometimes they can work beautifully together. So if you know that a knight in shining armor, that we used to pronounce it as a knight, because it goes back to the German Knecht, meaning a boy, then that will help you learn the spelling. So very often they can work together seamlessly. And that's, again, why I love etymology, the study of the origin of words, because quite often they will explain the spelling to you and help it stick in your mind.
Definitely. This is why our relationship is so good, I think. They're so tight, spelling and etymology, because the etymology, quite often you don't need to link a lot of tricks for some of the etymology. For the spelling of some words, you don't need to link a lot. You don't need, like the word definitely, it's a classic one. I always use that. If you know the word finite, if you don't, then you need a trick for it, which is fair enough.
Finish. If you know the word finish, that's all you need to know. To forget finite, just remember it's two I's, and that will give you definitely, and they go back to the same thing because it's all about coming to a point or a conclusion.
Yes, exactly. But we finish those. I back up with that. Finish is 6 letters. Finite is 6 letters. You need to know they're 6 because people do definitely F-I-N-I, as you say, T-L-Y. They drop the E.
Yes.
Got that covered as well. But that's a beautiful. My link for that. I think yours actually is not better. It's more information. Ideally, etymology, don't need to link a lot. Wouldn't it be great if every word could be, the etymology helps you spell every single word? But
yes, and then Andy, then to link a lot, I could say, you're fired.
Absolutely. And that's the ideal, really. I thought there's a problem here. So link a lot, this works for maths, it's geography, it's any fact. But hold it, spelling, how's spelling going? Oh, we've got a problem here. Okay, so link a lot is going to rock up and hopefully help Lady Lexicographer in this world of literacy. That's the thinking behind it anyway.
That would be very cool.
Great stuff. We love it. Oh, one last thing very quickly. Zoology. Okay, I've got to quickly ask.
Oh, yes.
Zoology. Okay. Now, that should be pronounced
zoology.
Zoology or zoology?
Zoology. I think, strictly speaking, it's a zoological garden. That is the full term for a zoo, but zoo is the shortening of it. So yes, it was always zoological, but I think we just have shifted to make it slightly easier, because zoological is, I think, a little bit trickier, isn't it, than zoological? But yes, you're right. If you are a bit of a nitpicker or a pedant, then you can say zoological, and that's absolutely fine. We don't mind pedants here.
Because zoology, well, there must be 3 O's.
Would be 3 O's. I know. Yeah. I know. Honestly, we make it hard for ourselves all the time.
We do. Lady Lexicographer, we love you. Thanks for rocking up. Rocking up. This is implying like, well, it suits today. So thank you for coming on. We love you coming on.
Thank you, Selink. See you soon.
See you next time.
Bye.
We love Lady Lex. She's a complete legend. The literary linguistic legend in a wonderful world of words. I got it. There you go. I got it. Yeah. Now here is a couple of great Susie stories.
Philo is from the Greek philos, loving.
Philosophy is the love of wisdom, while philanthropy is giving and generosity made from a love of mankind. We also use the suffix phile, Phile, to mean lover. A francophile loves France, a xenophile loves dogs, and a pluviophile loves a rainy day. Today, we think of graffiti as being painted or sprayed upon a wall. Originally, though, it was scratched on. The word, from the Italian graffito, a little scratch, first appeared in English in the mid-19th century, when it described ancient wall drawings and writing found in ruins from ancient civilizations such as Pompeii. One example of graffiti from 9th century Turkey was left by a Viking warrior and contains a sentence that reads pretty much like, Halfdan was here.
Halfdan was here. Really good. Or Halfdan, you look like. Brilliant. We love Susie Stories. And the prefix as well. Prefix. Philo. So good. So good. Right, that ends today's lesson. Letter linking. Matching letters and other words. Okay, the C-O-M-M of comma. The C-O-M-M of recommend. Tying up letters. Cracks occur in old age. 50 graffiti. Commitment. Get to the summit with commitment. Really useful technique. Tremendous technique. Have you got any good links? Let me know, all right? Come on. Let me know, will ya? Come on. Come on. Get yourself a shout out and one of these badges. Vulnerable, that's a great one. Is an ocean liner vulnerable if it's got just one funnel? Like the word liner, the I is the funnel drops out. L-N-E-R of liner inside vulnerable. Good one, that. Love that one. Parliament, another belter. My parent Liam works in Parliament. Liam inside parent. I got an email back from Parliament last week. Email back from Parliament. Email is also in there backwards. Oh. And then, of course, we got the legend that is Lady Lex. Great stuff. Great stuff. And if you've got a really cool link, you may get your name on the app, all right? You may get your name on the app. All right, look at this one, look at this one, look at this, look, here we go. Here's the word yacht. Check out this link. Yacht. The first letters of the following words spell the word yacht. Yachts always catch high tide. Yachts always catch high tide. Very clever. Francis Kingston, 52 years old. 52, yeah. Also, that's my sister. Check her out. A fellow linker. Oh, she can't get enough. She loves linking. And you can get your name in the app. You can get your name up there. Your name in lights. Come on. Think of a link. Come on. All you need to play is an imagination. No rules, no system, nothing. The name of the app is to link a lot. Is it in? We all know the answer to that.